Hi, this is Papple, and you're watching PapplePlays. For the first video on this channel, I'm playing the game Streets of Rage, which is actually a modded version of the actual Streets of Rage game. This is Streets of Rage 2X, and the modded version were actually developed by Bomber Games, but this particular one is a fan-based game by OpenBore and F Games. Has a similar story from Streets of Rage 3, where Mr. X has come again from dead and he kidnaps Adam, and in an attempt to rescue Adam, Axel, Blaze, Max, and Adam's kid brother Skate, they set out to destroy all the plants that Mr. X has planted. So the story goes as Mr. X, the syndicate boss, believed destroyed by the three young vigilantes, has come back to life strong than ever. That should be stronger. Thirsty for revenge, he kidnaps Adam in an attempt to lure Axel and Blaze in a trap. Axel and Blaze set out to help their friend, joined by Axel's friend Max, a wrestler, and Adam's kid brother Skate. Four young friends, rage burning inside them, make a stand for friendship and peace. And that's where the story of our Streets of Rage starts. Now, this version is named Streets of Rage 2X, mainly because it has better graphics, better moveset for all the characters. Okay, looking up on the title screen, this is pretty good, decent. 2017 F Games, written on the very bottom. Starting, it has 5 options. I first go to the main options and I go to the system options, where I can actually enable the cheats. This option is unavailable if you haven't played the game twice or thrice, I believe. So you have to finish the game a particular number of times to enable the cheats. I enabled the infinite lives one, and then I've kept the difficulty at normal, and I've reduced the number of lives to 5. And all the other options that are new to this game include rage attacks, counter attacks, cancelling, juggle system, special moves, cost, screen edge walls, full energy, scrolling speed, item drop, quick respawn, and getting food by the enemies. The extra menu also includes the command list for newer attacks like special attacks, counter attacks, rage attacks, aerial recovery, fast rising, back attacks, charge attacks, and jumping attacks. Other than that, you can also see other features like level time, play time, damage, graphic effects, and music style that has been taken from the original Bomber Games remake of this game. So it's pretty good. And the aggressiveness for your CPU partners that are playing with you, and multiplayer options. Other than that, you can go to high scores, and for each new game you have 3 types of modes. You can choose from arcade, survival, and rebellion. You get to start with the arcade mode, and once you complete the game twice or thrice, you can choose between survival and rebellion. I go to rebellion mode, where you can play as all the enemy characters that you see in the game. I actually love playing as Shiva from Streets of Rage 3, not Streets of Rage 2. And I'm gonna be playing this game as Shiva from Streets of Rage 3, dressed in purple. And I don't know what that particular dress is called, but it's pretty cool and I really love it. So you can choose from different routes. You can choose from Streets of Rage 3 route to start with, or with Streets of Rage 2 route to start with, and I chose the second one to start with Streets of Rage 2 route, where you come up with this really beautiful setup. I really actually like the screen. It just gives such a beautiful disco vibe, or like a busy city, like Vegas or something. Las Vegas. I think Las Vegas looks like that at night, or even better, who knows. I actually like using the special attack a lot, the running attack I'd call that, because it really gives a good amount of damage. And then there was a new moveset that you just witnessed. It was the rising attack, like when you fall down Just press up and attack, and you will be able to give a rising attack. This is, I believe, exclusive for Shiva, and for base characters like Axel and Blaze and Skate and Dr. Zan and Max, I believe this is not true, because they do not they don't have rising attacks. They do rise, but their animation looks like a dodge. Like when you're dodging, you roll out to the other side. So when they rise, they actually do a dodge attack, or they actually dodge. So the rising attack is actually exclusive for Shiva. Now underneath the health bar, you can see 3 stars, which are actually the level of energy that you can use depending upon different types of attacks you're doing. Now here is a demonstration of counter attack, which I actually failed at first because I was pressing the wrong button combination, and then I actually figured it out that what the correct buttons for this are, and then that was it. So you actually fall down that hole from where that enemy came from, and I didn't know that before because the animation of that hole actually looks really feeble, and I thought that that was not functional. So I actually stepped over it and I fell down the first time I played the game. And for Shiva in this particular mod, no matter what you do, no matter how many times you press your attack button to grab the weapon that Shiva is standing on, he won't pick the weapon up, because he's not designed in that way in this game. I believe he cannot pick the weapons up, and he does not have any special attacks with the weapons. In the Bomber Games mod of this game of Streets of Rage, I've seen all the characters pick up the weapon, and they have special attacks with that particular weapon. So this is the mini boss, you can say, for this first level, and that was the rage attack that I absolutely wasted on a smaller enemy target and got beaten up right after that. What a shame. So one thing that I hate about this game is, I don't know if it's true for all of the side-scrolling games, but the enemies would go off screen and they won't come out until you move back, or until you move to a further angle that they can come out, and then you can beat them up. This is true for this game as well. Even if you set the wall types to bouncing or lock, or bouncing and lock, a combination of both, the enemies would go off screen when they fall down, and they won't come out until you move back a little and wait for them to come out. Talking about the music of this game, I really love the music that Bomber Games actually have developed for Streets of Rage remake, and it has a really modern vibe to it. Perfect combination of symphony and soul to the beats. As it is in Streets of Rage 4, the Switch version of the game, you can do a multi-hit attack on enemies, and they can do that as well. But that's only possible for the boss characters, I believe. The usual enemies don't multi-hit. The boss characters do, they do rage attacks on you, which is not good. And this particular mod is also developed to make the pillars that are in the stage transparent enough for you to see where you're going and where the enemy is standing, so you can kill them. The vanilla version of all the Streets of Rage games does not feature that particular thing, that you cannot see if you're standing behind a pillar. You cannot see, and you're not able to see if the enemy is coming towards you or if he is hiding behind that pillar. So this is a good thing, that you can see where the enemy is at. This is the second boss of this particular stage, and I believe this marks the end of this stage. Now, one thing you'll notice, if you see the health bar of the enemy in this particular stage is that the health bar moves really slowly. The health of the enemies would drain so slowly you would start questioning your existence, like why are you even playing the game? I believe that's because um, you're able to in the vanilla games it's like the health bar is actually colored and the health would go down and the color of the health bar would change, and there's a life sign like 3 or 4 written in front of the health bar of the enemies. If we apply the same rule to this game as well, and I believe that is the same case with this game as well, because the health bar would move slower, but it would only show that the enemy has multiple array of lives. So you have to defeat the enemy like a lot of times to drain their energy, or you have to beat them up a lot to drain their full energy. The part where this rule is applicable, that you will be able to use your rage attacks only if you have 3 stars underneath your health bar, is not applicable to your enemies. The counter attacks have the same physical law, that you will be able to do a counter attack only if your energy bar is recharged. You can see a little hint of green with your health bar. That means that your health bar is charged, and there we go, we defeated the first stage's enemy boss. That marks the end of stage 1. So I was talking about that if you have 3 stars you will be able to do a rage attack. This is not particularly true for the enemy units, and the enemy units can do multiple counter attacks. They can do multiple rage attacks without the restriction of having any stars, because you can't actually see the stars on them, and that is what makes the game difficult enough for you to enjoy beating the enemy up. I believe that's the case. I hate this particular level just because of these bike riders. I actually cannot see where they're coming at, and I think there's no shadow projected on the ground when they fly over your head, so it's really hard to estimate where they're gonna fall. But you can actually see where they'll land, and you can avoid that, and you can use the dodge button. But because I'm new to this game and I'm not that used to using the dodge button, it's really hard for me to remember at the time of need that I can do a dodge. The main reason why I get beaten up so much, more than the enemy. This is a beat 'em up game for me, not for the enemy to beat me up. But it's the other way around for noobs like me. I'm still gonna play it, and I'm gonna enjoy that, because that's how a game should be. That's how a game should be played. You should enjoy whatever you're doing in the game. You should not fuss over if you're getting a perfect no damage gameplay or not. No offense to those who do a no damage gameplay. I think they do a great job, and I really respect that. I'm really fascinated how they do a no damage gameplay, because I can never do that. I always get damaged. I get distracted by the enemies that are coming around, and I get distracted from killing the main boss, and I take a lot of damage, more than what I should be giving the enemies. So let's talk about the moveset that Shiva has. Shiva can, I've actually talked about it, he can do a rising attack, unlike the base characters. And then he has the special attacks, the running attacks, and the rage attacks, which are pretty decent in damage. And it is said that if you get Shiva in Streets of Rage 3, he is the strongest character that you get in terms of giving damage to enemies. So I really like the moveset of Shiva and how he plays out. more than Axel and Blaze. I have a second preference of Axel and a third preference of Blaze. I can never work Zan or Skate or Max or even Adam that well, but I did play as Adam in this particular game, and I really enjoyed how his moveset works. So I think after Shiva, if I play as someone, I'd probably choose Axel and then Adam, then Blaze in this game. Now this particular level, I believe, is the end of this stage, and there are a lot of side enemies that would pop up from off screen. The one thing that I saw about this game is that in the base game you don't get side enemies when you're trying to kill the boss enemy, the boss character, other than the stages where you're about to face Mr. X. But that even when Mr. X comes up himself, the robo version of Mr. X comes up himself, you don't see the side characters. You only get to beat them once, when Mr. X is seated, not when Mr. X rises up and comes to beat us. So, but in this game, with the boss characters, as a distraction, you get a lot of side enemies to play with, and that's what makes the game a little bit difficult for me, because I get easily distracted. I started beating up the side enemies just like that, and then I get beaten up by the boss character. And it's really hard to get this particular boss character in hand because he keeps flying all the way, he keeps beating you up, and you can't get a hold on him to use your special attack or use your rage attack. And there he just used his rage attack on me, drained 90% of my energy. And there's the second death of this gameplay so far. I've died twice in this game. It's really hard for me to get a hold on this guy because I actually wanted to do a rage attack on him, and then after some thinking I thought that because he's like he goes really up and then he goes down to attack us, that is the perfect moment where I can use my rage attack when he is down on the ground for a few seconds. In that little second time slot I can use my rage attack once I get him cornered or something. But these side enemies would just not let me live in peace, and there I wasted my rage attack, a perfect wastage, on some stupid side enemies, which I actually intended to use on the boss character. And if you grab boss enemy in this, or even any boss character in the game, they're gonna do some kind of a counter attack, and this boss actually burns me with the thrusters he has on his back or something like that, whatever you'd want to call them. I'm actually really surprised by the spawn of side enemies in this stage, because the timeline that you see on the very bottom of the screen, the time would run out if you don't kill your enemies in enough time, and that would also kill you. It costs energy. Now there's that rage attack that I was hoping to get before and drain the energy of this enemy sooner than I actually wanted. So I'm playing this game using a keyboard, using a gaming keyboard. I have played this game with a controller as well, and I think that playing with a keyboard is easier. So there's the enemy, and we have defeated it. And that's the end of this video, I believe. I'm gonna record soon because this is gonna be a long video. and it's gonna take me ages to edit it. So this is gonna be it for this particular episode. This is Papple, and I hope you have a great time watching it. Do share it and like it if you want. Subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts in the comments.